ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
There, I am Nifemi Oguntoye with the CoreTV News at this hour. A non-governmental organization, Save Adamawa Communities from Terrorists, says it doubts the ceasefire agreement the federal government claims it has with Boko Haram. The group expressed concerns that it may be a ploy by the insurgents to re-strategize. It warned in a statement issued in Kaduna that having suffered heavy casualties in recent times, the insurgent group may want to use the ceasefire to stockpile arms for more deadly attacks. The group also raised the alarm over the invasion and destruction of 9 villages in Hong local government area of Adamawa State. It believes that a solution to ending the siege on Adamawa villages may lie in allowing individuals to arm themselves with a view to protecting their communities. Meanwhile, the ceasefire deal between the federal government and Boko Haram has been generating reactions from Nigerians due to the recent attacks in Borno State. Speaking on a flagship program called Digest,
it is clear
public affairs analyst Olabode Hussaini says the Nigerian military should be more organized with a view to finding a lasting solution to the Boko Haram insurgents despite the ceasefire deal.
We cannot afford to have organized or arranged for a ceasefire and then we are getting this kind of results. A layman will say, well, that means the vehicle, the car, the thing has not been properly fixed. So a negotiation of this magnitude must be well organized, must be well represented, it must be well done in such a way that truce will be truce. In most of the wars of this world, when you call for truce, the truce usually is obeyed and respected. So very rare situation you had that truce is now broken and fight want to continue. Yes, if at the end of the day the final draft, the final arrangement is not agreed on certain logistic or issues, there might be war again. But where we are now, we can't afford to do that, and that's why I say I'm using this opportunity to applaud. I'm very happy that the government has done so much and they are doing so much to make sure that the issue of this our girls that have been in captivity for so many months are going to be brought to an end, and at the same time use the same opportunity to find solution, a lasting solution,
Okay, in your own opinion,
to the problem of Boko Haram.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says the federal government is given wrong information about the debt profile of the state, challenging the federal government to give the true situation of things with the Federation account. Fashola made this known while speaking at the 2,700 days celebration of his administration in office. Abiola Oluwole was there and filed in the report.
Every 100 days, Governor Babatunde Fashola addresses residents on developments in the state. Undaunted by the rains, residents troop out to listen to their governor for the 27th time. Speaking on the 160 billion naira debt profile of the state, Fashola says such loans are used for developmental projects.
Our political advisors have issued statements that we have borrowed 160 billion. What they have not told you is what we are doing with the money. In the last 100 days, we commenced work on providing street lighting on Murtala Muhammad Way in Yaba. This is 10 kilometers of public lighting, which will be completed by the end of this month. On Eko Bridge, Kata Bridge, Ikorodu Road, Lekki Ekpe Expressway, and every street and highway where there is street lighting in Lagos today, it is the Lagos State government that supplied the poles the bulbs and the diesels that keeps those lights running.
He, however, challenged the federal government to render account for the 2.3 trillion naira unappropriated funds spent on fuel subsidy, which he says is responsible for states being unable to access enough funds through the federation account.
And if they still ask you about debt, ask them to account for over 2.3 trillion naira spent on fuel importation without appropriation. And also ask them to explain what happened to $20 billion. Because if these huge amounts were made available to the Federation account for the states and local governments, clearly things will be different in our country.
The forum also served as a platform for Fashola to respond to questions from residents on policies of the state government.
Religious leaders across Ekiti State have urged the new governor, Ayodele Fayose, to run an all-inclusive government devoid of bad blood and vengeance, as God has given him a rare opportunity of a second chance in his life. The chief imam of Ado Ekiti and representative of Pastor William Kumuyi of the Deeper Life Bible Church, speaking at the Thanksgiving service of Ayo Fayose on Friday and Sunday, described the second coming of the governor as a rare opportunity, thus making him to forego the past and run a government that doesn't create enmity. Ayo Fayose, who rode on the floor in a show of appreciation to God for his victory, promised to do as admonished by the religious leaders, while he also ordained himself as an apostle of stomach infrastructure. The Thanksgiving held at the Ado Ekiti Central Mosque and the Deeper Life Bible Church campground in Ado Ekiti attracted dignitaries from the political class and traditional institution. Away from there now, the Labour Party has picked a one-time Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, James Mogaji, as its candidate for the 2015 gubernatorial election in the state. This, according to officials of the party in the state, followed discussions with several aspirants who unanimously agreed to support a candidate from southern Kaduna because of plans by PDP and APC to field candidates from northern part of the state. Speaking at the occasion, Labour Party National Vice Chairman in charge of Northwest Zone, Umaru Mohammed, said with the black votes of southern Kaduna, Labour Party is sure of taking over the state next year. Party Chairman Bello Mogaji, for his part, said the choice of James Mogaji as candidate is to ensure that the party fields a credible and popular politician at the 2015 election. And as the 2015 general elections draw near and politicians jostle for space and attention, traditional rulers in the northern senatorial district of Kwara State said the governor has done enough in developing the state for him to be considered for a second term in office. The traditional rulers who visited the governor to congratulate him on his numerous strides in developing the state say he's good enough for a second term, especially in developing the northern senatorial district and the state in general. The leader of the team, the Esu Patigi and vice chairman of the State Council of Traditional Rulers, Ibrahim Chata Umar, also tasked the governor on continued delivery of dividends of democracy to the people. Chata Umar, while commending the governor on his health, education and youth empowerment programs, says the traditional rulers wish him electoral success in 2015 so that he will continue to do more of what he has done over the last few years for the state and its people. The Kwara State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC says it welcomes the resolution of the Kwara State Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security to ensure peace and tranquility in Kwara State ahead and beyond the 2015 general elections. In a statement issued in Ilorin by its publicity secretary Sulaiman Buhari, the APC described the decision not to invite the party as a dangerous signal of partisanship as the elections draw near. Going further, the party says to ensure the success of the decisions taken at the meeting, the security agencies should do all it can to monitor what the party describes as the violent tendencies of opposition parties. The PDP in the state, according to the APC statement, has a fertile record of political violence, while its thugs and chieftains are at various stages of prosecution in respect to political violence. The party says it's a source of worry to it that the party was not invited to the stakeholders meeting even when smaller parties were invited. The party says this represents a dangerous signal which shows a hint of partisanship on the part of security agencies, with the admonition that they should work with all stakeholders, especially the ruling party, which has 98% of all elected and appointed political office holders in the state. You're watching CoreTV News live from Lagos. We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more. Don't go away.
Der Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1:1. Semenike schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
Sports is concerned, and of course, making a difference for all of us here from all our production crew. Thanks for one more pleasure.
For more on the news, you can also reach us on our social media platform. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. As well as on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV in the space and news. Moving on now, the Otulu community in Anyuja South local government area of Delta State has called on the state government to intervene to save the community from the alleged incessant attacks by Fulani herdsmen in the area. The community chief Paul Eboji made this call in an interview with newsmen in the area. Eboji says the people now live in fear due to the rampant attacks of the herdsmen. Eboji posited that government's intervention is necessary because the community is peace-loving and would not want to be dragged into clashes with herdsmen that could take lives. He alleged that Fulani herdsmen have turned their farmlands into grazing ground for their cattle. The community chief says challenging the herdsmen has led to attacks on members of the community, with several also maimed in the process, calling on the state government to intervene to prevent a major crisis. The kidnapping of a former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Okewale, has continued to generate reactions. A former chairman of the Ikeja branch of the association, Monday Ubani, and a Lagos-based legal practitioner, Chukwuemeka Eze, both condemned the incident, describing it as indicative of the sad state of security in the country. They however called for his immediate and unconditional release, while also admonishing the government to do more as regards security in the nation.
But the kidnap is very condemnable, it's highly reprehensible, and it's very scary for some of us. And that again, tells us the state of our insecurity. I traveled recently to East, and I've actually saw every big man, every big woman with security apparatus, with policemen and vehicle following them. It then means that if you don't have any money to have your own personal arrangement of security force protecting you, you're on your own. You can easily be kidnapped. You can easily be abducted. You know, so the state of insecurity in this country is very alarming.
The kidnap signposts the continuation of the black chapter in the book of political history of Nigeria. That in 2014, Nigeria is not known as a country that will make a lot of difference in the world.
A 400-level student of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, has dragged the school authorities before the Federal High Court sitting in Osogbo, Osun State, for unlawful rustication, which was a fallout of the June 18 protest when protested by student union over the increment in school fees and poor welfare on the campus of the institution. Rashid, who was in court, has more on the story.
After the protest by the student union and student activists of the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife on the 18th of June, some of the participants never knew what hit them, with the management of the institution wielding the big stick by rusticating leaders of the protest. The decision, which did not go down well with the affected students, has led to a court action by the students before the Federal High Court in Osogbo to enforce their fundamental human rights.
Now, we still clamor in addition to the reinstatement of all the 8 students that were suspended, in addition to 1 student that was equally suspended in 2011 struggle. We clamor immediately for their reinstatement, and also we still maintain our ground that the fee increment remains unjustified. Even upon reinstatement, we will continue to fight the struggle. Our cudgels of struggle will be raised towards and against oppression of the vast majority. So the intent is that the management at this point in time must make sure that they withdraw all of those allegations against all the 8 suspended student activists, number 1, and number 2, must immediately review and revisit the fee hike. So as evidence has shown that it had never, we are not having better welfare on campus as against the lies, the bunch of lies that were spread to the vast majority of Nigeria.
The leadership of the student union also backed the students, revealing this through Amos Ibikunle and the petitioner, Sanyaolu Olajuwon.
Now, why we are in court? Because of the political victimization of our students. Yes, we are telling the whole world what is happening to us in Ife. The students, the student union leaders, the student activists, we are under attack. And as it stands, we cannot continue this way. And now, we are also talking about a statement struggle.
You see, our problem actually was not because of the fact that the fee was even increased by 5 naira. Even if our school fees was 1 naira and it was increased to 1 naira 50 kobo, we will still fight. And this is because we believe that, the only way we can get better academic welfare on campus has always been through proper and adequate funding of education. And if you decide to draw the graph of, the education growth in Nigeria, you discover that it is reducing from the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and now in the 21st century, it is decreasing by the year. So what does that tells you? If you look at the pre-1970s, you discover that education was much more better in those periods, which was clouded with proper funding of education. But as government begins to reduce the funding of education, and their respective agents, who are the monsters in our university, I call the vice chancellor, they implement those principles by increment in fees. So instead of that increment in fees to an average person, you think that you will get better education welfare, but things are getting much more worse by the day.
The school's management, speaking through the Defense Counsel, however, says the decision is justified, an assertion countered by the counsel to the plaintiff.
I'm just going to look at the case file. The matter is for mention this morning. I'm still studying the case file. So you will discover that we have not filed anything in defense. So we are here just for mention. So we are still studying the file. That's all I can say.
Our prayers are for his studentship to be reinstated, for him to have all the rights accruable to a student on campus, writing exams, passing exams, graduating, and being attractive to the labor market. His rights under the Constitution are protected, and by being an activist, by asking for what is right, you should not be humiliated. You know, we all went to school. Even the oppressors of today used to be oppressed, but they were not oppressed as they are oppressing people today. We knew then how much we were paying as fees. Though economic realities of today might be asking for more, but it shouldn't be the one that will guillotine students, that will take away, deprive the students the right to education. Because if you are not have money to pay, so much as they are asking in schools, you will not be able to go to school. And an ignorant society is a dead society.
Ruling on the matter has been reserved till the 3rd of November 2014. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Welcome back. Kaduna State Governor Mukhtar Yero is a short polo enthusiast of adequate security for the duration of the forthcoming annual tournament. Speaking during the check presentation at the Ahmadu Yakubu Polo Ground, Muktala Square, Kaduna, Governor Yero, who was represented by the Commissioner for Sports and Youth Development, Bashir Zubairu, said the state government would render all necessary assistance required to make the tournament a success. President Kaduna Polo Club, Alhaji Shehu Muazu, expressed appreciation to the Kaduna state government for approving a second polo ground for the club and for building a stable front for the club. Tournament manager Ibrahim Abba said the 2014 tournament will be used to commemorate Nigeria's centenary celebration, adding that polo players are expected from within and outside the country. Thousands of face mask-wearing runners have taken part in the 34th Beijing International Marathon. The organizers had earlier warned runners to expect slight or moderate smog. But the U.S. Embassy in Beijing said air quality was hazardous, with one resident saying that the air smelled like burnt coal, though the WHO says daily population levels should not exceed an average of 25 micrograms per cubic meter of fine particulate matter. Estimates say the levels were higher. And that wraps up this hour in CoreTV News. Do join us again at 11 o'clock for more. I'm Nifemi.